Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome again. Jag är Adrianna. Så yinashia kusasana na shlanki ani dashashin tadashkish dashchek oke dashanella. Hi everybody, my name is Adrianna. I am Navajo and I'm a college success coach with the American Indian College Fund. I am the Many Goats Clan board for the Towering House people, and I am from South New Mexico. And I've been with the College Fund for almost 2 years now. Thursday will actually be my second year anniversary, so really happy about that. But yeah, this is the last week of the Sko to College series. Again, the Sko to College series is a college readiness series for any students who are looking to kind of get back into that mindset, but it's also hosted by the First Year Experience Program. And what we do is we provide special support and resources to those students who are going into their first year of college. So this whole series has been dedicated to that, just college readiness and stuff. But of course, we've been having all people from different stages of life come in and are welcomed into the session. So we've had, students, of course, current college students, prospective high school students, friends, family who are kind of trying to gather information, maybe for other kids or for other relatives who are thinking about going to college. High school staff, college staff, tribal education staff. We've been having people from all different stages of life come and join us, which is really awesome to see. And I'm really hoping that you're enjoying all the content that has been shared these past couple of weeks. And again, this is our last week, so sad about that, but we have a really great lineup to close it out strong. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So as you know, we like to do a little bit of oh my god, what are they called? I can't think what they're called. I'm blanking so bad right now. Icebreakers. Oh my gosh. So this is the time for you to introduce yourselves in the comments. Where are you tuning in from? What is your tribal affiliation? If you want to shout that out. And then our icebreaker question for today is, what did you want to be when you were a kid? What was your dream job when you were a kid, that you wanted to be when you grew up? So we'll just take a few minutes for people to introduce themselves in the comments. I know for me, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be, actually, I don't even know what I wanted to be. Oh, I wanted to be a journalist because I took some classes in middle school and I was a part of the journalism club as well. And we printed out newspapers and magazines, and I got to do kind of like a shadow. I don't know if this was legal. It wasn't like child labor or anything, but I got to kind of shadow one of the reporters who was at the Navajo Times here on the Navajo Nation. So that was really fun. And honestly, I wish I could have stuck it out with that, but I don't know what happened. I think it died out when I got into high school, and then I wanted to go to a different route. So, but yeah, that was for me, journalism. Marina from Kansas City, from Winnebago, Nebraska. Awesome. Welcome. Shoshani from Bellingham, Washington. Wants to be a vet tech. Ooh, that's cool. Jaylon wanted to be a firefighter. Awesome. Marina wanted to be an environmentalist. That's awesome. Definitely. And then Saleha wanted to be a veterinarian. A lot of veterinarians, yeah. That's really awesome. I think there was a point in life too where I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I have too much of a soft heart for animals, and any type of sickness or anything I would see them in. Like, I think that would just really like destroy me, honestly. White White Mountain Apache, Alicia, hi, welcome. Dagote. Wanted to be a cardiologist, awesome. So an optum, a teacher, yes, definitely need more teachers. Wanted to pet the animals and give them treats. That's what, yeah, I think that's what I wanted to do too. That was more of my dream job. I just wanted to pet and cuddle all the animals, basically. Ray is from Elgin, I think it's Elgin, Oklahoma, and tribal affiliation is Comanche. Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks y'all for doing that. And again, you can do that throughout the presentation, introduce yourselves or interact in the comments. We always really encourage interacting in the comments, whether it's, commenting, if there's something that, really inspired you or you want to comment on or anything, feel free to use the chat. We also have these really cool emojis as well in here that you can utilize. There's like a happy face, there's like a smiling face, or there's like a laughing face, there's a thumbs up, a heart, and all that stuff too. So yeah, we really love it when we see the interaction in the comments and with those little emoticons too. But yeah, like I said, we're in week 3, so this is the last week. Please keep in mind that all the times are going to be in Mountain Daylight time zone. But today we're going to be talking about professional development. I have to change that again, but Jaylon, who is our guest host today, is one of our student ambassadors, and he's going to be talking about professional development and sharing his journey in higher education, basically, and all the stuff and tribulations that he went through to get to where he is today, and to hopefully inspire you all. And then tomorrow we'll be having a session on advocating for yourself, which will be hosted by Shoshani Perez, who is actually in the meeting right now. So shout out to you. And then we also have closing off on Thursday. Our summer closing will be by Sharietta Martinez Brown, who works at Navajo Technical University, and she'll be talking about staying motivated while in college, which is such a big topic because there's a lot of different things that happen while you're in college, and life doesn't stop, unfortunately. There's a lot of challenges that are going to be, coming your way, and it's going to, a lot of the time it's going to be out of your control. So, the way that you can ground yourself and to bring yourself back down and to help yourself stay focused and motivated is really important to hold while you're in college. And, you're going to have a lot of trials and mistakes and everything, but, as long as you are staying consistent and you're keeping in mind the major goal that you want to do and complete, finish college, then, you'll be able to push through. But that's kind of like the week overall. This week is just, looking into yourself and doing a lot of like personal well-being development and just keep in mind of your own self too. So I think that's a good note, honestly, to kind of help get us back into like the academic mindset, which is coming. The academic year is coming so fast. It's already almost August. So I know school is going to be starting here pretty soon. So hopefully, we get a good ball rolling. And again, you can always find registration links, past recorded videos, all on our link tree here. And then a good way to stay on top of current updates and reminders as well is to follow us on Native Pathways. So we have, we're at Native Pathways on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as TikTok. And then again, all of our sessions are going to be recorded, so they'll all be found on our YouTube channel afterwards. So. And of course, we love to give out incentives because y'all are really awesome. And the more sessions that you attend, the bigger the prizes get. And the biggest way for you, the only way really for you to get into the door prizes is to complete the event evaluations after each session, which a lot of y'all have been really great about that. So I really appreciate that. We love the feedback. But yeah, so we have the tier system. So as you move up, then you'll get the bigger prizes. So if you attend one session and fill out one of the event evaluations, you'll be entered to win a $50 gift card. If you attend 2 sessions and you complete 2 surveys, you'll be entered to win Sony wireless headphones. If you attend 3 sessions and you do the surveys, you'll be entered to win an Amazon Fire tablet. And then the big grand prize, if you attend 4 or more sessions and do the surveys, you'll be entered to win a laptop. So this is the door prizes that you can do, and just by attending 1 session, you'll be entered to win a gift card. So yeah, good luck to all of y'all if you're doing that. Oh, last thing too as well, if you want to watch the recorded videos on our YouTube and then fill out the event evaluations there, those will also count as well. And that'll be open. The last day to submit an event evaluation will be August 7th. So just keep that in mind. But I don't want to take too much time away from our guest host, but we have Jaylon Romine here. He is one of our student ambassadors with the American Indian College Fund. I know Sky Harper also talked a couple weeks back as well. And, we're really excited to have Jaylon here. He is a very proud alumni from Haskell Indian Nations University, which is a tribal college in Kansas. And he is currently on the path of applying for law school. So he shared a little bit about that before the meeting here. He's preparing to take his LSAT, and it's just, on getting on the ball about applying to grads or to law school and everything. So I don't want to take too much away. So Jaylon, I will go ahead and pass it over to you, and we'll see y'all after Jaylon's done.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to get my screen started here. There you go. Can everyone see that all right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jaylon Romine. As you can see, that's me with Secretary Deb Holland. It's one of my favorite pictures ever. And it's from my last summer internship, which I'll go into a bit more within the presentation. But here's an overview of what I'll be talking about. Just I'll give an introduction after this, then my time at high school, my time after high school, COVID-19, my time at Haskell, the various internships I've done, student organizations I've been a part of at Haskell, and then my current and future plans that Adrianna was alluding to. But yes, my name is Jaylon Romine. I'm a citizen of the Muskogee Creek Nation of Oklahoma, the Wind Clan. My grandpa was also Kiowa, and I have a great grandpa that was also Chickasaw. But although I was more raised Creek and Kiowa, I think I have like one uncle left on the Chickasaw row, and he's really proud of it. I'll give him that, but still don't know too much about it. Of course, my school was Haskell Indian Nations University. I just graduated in May with my Bachelor's of Arts in Indigenous American Indian Studies. And my hometown is Eufaula, Oklahoma. It's a real small town in southeast Oklahoma. The only thing that's I'd say positive about it, it's really there's a lot of creeks down there, and there's a giant lake, so there's always something to do in the summer, not so much in the winter. My hobbies include skateboarding, punk rock shows. I like reading and camping with my little brothers Royce and Eli. My high school, I'm a non-traditional college student, so I didn't enter college until I was about 24. And so I went to Eufaula my first 2 years of high school, my freshman and sophomore year. And then my mom got a job in Oklahoma City and moved us up there for my last 2 years of high school. But I didn't get to graduate. I didn't walk. They told me I skipped class too much, I guess. And they were like, you can't walk. You have to go to an alternative school in Edmond, Oklahoma. And just, you got to do that. Or you can wait and graduate in 2015. And I didn't want to be a super senior, as they called it. And so I went to this alternative school. They called it Boulevard Academy, but it's an alternative school. I think they just put academy to make it not sound so bad. And the cool part about Boulevard is I got my high school diploma on Halloween. So as soon as like the principal, he called me in his office, said, "Congratulations, you completed all your coursework. Here's your high school diploma," or that folder they give you. And he said, "We'll mail it to you." And then I walked out and high-fived at Power Ranger and Frankenstein. And I thought that was really cool because, graduation's supposed to be real formal. And I just walked out and went home. But my time after high school was kind of hectic. When my mom moved us to Oklahoma City, I kind of found I love my group of friends. I cherish them to this day, but they had no aspirations. They were a bunch of skater kids that didn't really think about their future. And I fell into drug use about my junior year. And that's one of the reasons why I was skipping class so much, because I wanted to go hang out with my friends instead of go to classes. And then, after Boulevard, I just got a bunch of various jobs in food, like Slim's Chicken, Hideaway Pizza, Taco Mayo, sushi restaurant. It was just, just being an idiot. And then so in 2016, I was like, I've always been told I was smart and I belong in school, but I just never really applied myself. So I tried college at this community college in Oklahoma City, and I did fairly well. I got A's and B's, but I was still hanging out with that wrong group of friends and didn't really know what I wanted for my future. So I was like, I don't want to just, waste my time going for a degree and get a job that I'm going to hate someday. So I just, I was like, school's not for me. And just picked up some bad habits, no call, no shows all the time at my jobs. Reason why I was hopping around so much. Bad communication, not only with my employers, but with my family, kind of distanced myself from my mom's side. I had really bad mental health, and I was diagnosed with a borderline personality disorder when I was 22. So right before I started Haskell. And then I had an ultimatum. I lost a really close friend of mine to a drug overdose. And it was kind of like a big wake up call. It's like, do I want to keep going down this road, or do I want to make a change? And so right before COVID, I still wasn't sure about school, and I was still in Oklahoma City. And after my friend passed, I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to stop hanging out with these people. And so my uncle got me a job around Muskogee, Oklahoma, which is only about 30 minutes from Eufaula. And I was just climbing cell phone towers across the country, just mainly in the East Coast. And it was really, really, I was making really, really good money, but at the same time, it was a really dangerous job. I got to travel a lot, which was really cool. Got to go to the whole Northeast, never been up there before. But after about 9 months of that, I was climbing a cell phone tower around Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is not too far from where I'm at right now in Washington, D.C. But at the top of that tower, there was an osprey nest, which is a river hawk, and they're huge. And as I'm climbing up the tower, one of my partner on the ground was like, "Hey, watch out for that hawk that's flying above you, and to check for a nest on top of the tower. And if we ever found a nest on top of the tower, and if it was this is a protected bird, and that's what they call them, protected bird sites. And if they had a nest with eggs or with chicks, we couldn't climb them whatsoever." And so I was like, "What do I do?" He's like, "You got to keep climbing and get pictures of the nest." And I was like, and I was still pretty new. I wasn't like, confident in myself to tell him like, "Hey, I'm not doing that." And so I climbed about 50 more feet. And as I'm climbing, the osprey's circling in on me and it's screaming at me. And eventually I get high enough where I can hear the chirps of its chicks. So I'm like, okay, they're up in the nest. And as I'm climbing and I hear those chicks, it swoops at me. I don't know if you've ever seen a hawk or eagle catch its prey, but that's what it looked like. And it was about, I don't know, 20 feet away from me. I think it was just trying to scare me. And it worked. I was really, really scared. And so I climbed down as fast as I could and applied to Haskell. People were always like, "Oh, you're exaggerating." And I was like, "No." Like as soon as I got back to the hotel room, I finally filled out my application and was like, I don't want to be climbing 600-foot cell phone towers when I'm 45 years old. And I definitely don't want to get my eyes clawed out by an osprey." And so my first 3 semesters, so I started Haskell that next fall, so fall 2020. And the first 3 semesters were completely online. And I hadn't been in school since 2016. So I never took an online class before. So it was really, as a non-traditional student, never taken an online class, I had to adjust. And luckily, those first 3 semesters, I was making straight A's. And I don't know if it was because the work was easy online or what, but I never got straight A's before in my entire life. And so I wanted to keep that momentum when we finally went back to Haskell, and I'll go over more of that later. But uh, Haskell is a federal boarding, well, is a federal school. It's run by the federal government, and so we had to follow federal regulations and about COVID. So when Haskell's in Lawrence, Kansas, which is the same town as KU, the University of Kansas, and when they opened up, when they took away their mask ordinance, when they opened up all the restaurants and stuff, Haskell still had to follow the federal government. And so we still had to wear masks, we still had to social distance. And it was kind of weird because we were on a little COVID island. Like you could leave campus and be free, but when you came back to campus, you had to follow these federal regulations. And so it was a ghost town for my first 3 semesters, and it was kind of difficult because there wasn't a lot of people on campus. I'm a non-traditional student. A lot of these kids are coming straight out of high school. And so, yeah, it was really difficult to overcome. But my time at Haskell was very positive and formative. When they finally let us back at 2021, I did meet some really close friends that I'm still in touch with to this day. They're some of my lifelong friends. But classes were still online. So we were living in the dorms, but we couldn't go to class. We had to take all our classes in our dorms or in the library. So it was kind of weird. I was like, I wanted to come to college, not come to a dorm and do online work. And so it was really frustrating. But I was able to keep that momentum with those straight A's. And that was really encouraging because I was really scared I was going to go in person and like fall off. But I was able to keep up my good grades, and I had the confidence, because when you're straight out of high school or when you're in high school, you're kind of, they call you a kid and it might make you mad, but you really are. Like if I would have started Haskell straight out of high school, I wouldn't be on the same degree path. I wouldn't have the same friends I have today. And so I kind of took advantage of that and just tried things I was always scared to try in high school because my punk skater friends would like make fun of me if I was in a club, if I was like trying to like get involved with something, like why are you trying to do that? We can go skate and drink or whatever. And so I had that bad influence away, and I was able to reach out, join clubs, and So yeah, it really built my confidence because everyone was so welcoming. And then I got my Associates of Arts in Social Work in May of 2022. And I kind of tweaked my degree path because around the same time I got my Associates of Arts, I was taking these high level classes at KU, and it was like a bunch of psychology classes. And I was learning more and more about my own mental diagnosis, BPD. And I was really self-conscious, like, do I have what it takes to, like, talk with uh, Native Americans and American Indian communities about all the trauma? And I'm sure a lot of there's plenty of trauma in our home communities. And when I can't even deal with my own trauma. So I was really scared right after I got my degree because I was like, can I do this? But I'll go more of that later. And then my last year at Haskell, I won the Brave Royalty title. And it's kind of like Mr. Indian ASU, Arizona State. I know Oklahoma State has one. I don't think a lot of them have it, but how I explain it, it's kind of like the male version of a powwow princess, because we have a Miss Haskell and she's always invited to like powwows across the nation. And then so I'm like the male counterpart. I know powwow culture, they don't have a male counterpart, but I was able to be like the school ambassador, travel across the country, represent Haskell at its highest degree. And so yeah, all that just completely changed my life. I like I said before that, I was climbing cell phone towers and being an idiot. And so yeah, my time at Haskell led me to some really, really good connections and internships. And that's kind of what I hope y'all take away from this, because to me, internships are very, very important. They give you a lot of experience and some things you uh, might not be interested in. Because the first one I did, one of my Indigenous Studies professors at Haskell, he was trying to recruit me this when we were still doing online. And he was like, come do this Haskell Environmental Research Studies program. And I was like, okay, is it going to be online? And he was like, yeah. I was like, well, I don't want to do an internship online. So I waited until we came back in fall 2021. And I met him in person. He was like, hey, like, we're still doing this internship. You should apply. And I was like, I'm not an environmental studies student. Like, I'm like a social worker and a history guy. And he was like, it's not really like, it says environmental research, but you don't have to be a scientist. It just teaches you how to research. And I knew in grad school, you got to do a lot of research. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll try it. And it was a partnership between KU and Haskell. And so they're in the same town. So we got to go stay at the KU dorms. And that's kind of where I decided to go to law school. So, I'm in my current internship, some of these people have been working their butt off all their lives, were raised around lawyers. And the only person that ever told me to consider being a lawyer was my mom. And I thought she was just being a mom. Like, you should be a lawyer when you grow up. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But during that internship, my mentors were encouraging me, because what my topic was centered around the regulation of oil on the Muskogee Creek Reservation. Because this might sound boring, but there was the Supreme Court ruling, McGirt versus Oklahoma, reestablished 47% of eastern Oklahoma as tribal reservation land. And it was a criminal case, but there's a lot of stuff that comes with that. And so I was looking at how my tribe could start controlling the regulation of oil on our reservation. And it was really unique, and everyone was impressed. And they're like, have you ever considered law school? And I was like, no. And then they bought me like an LSAT prep course, told me they pay for all this stuff about law school. And I still wasn't too sure. I was like, okay, I might. And then that next, when we came back to school in fall 2022, I did this internship with the Kansas Suicide Prevention Headquarters. And I don't know if y'all heard of the 988 hotline, but that's like the national hotline that when you're going through a mental health crisis, or if you just need someone to talk to, centered around suicide ideation, it takes you to if you're in Kansas and you call that number, it would take you to the headquarters. And so they taught us how to talk on the phone to people who are undergoing like mental health crises. And it taught me how to be more empathetic, how to listen to people. And I'm really grateful for that experience. But then right around that time, I was on Student Government Association, and they sent us to Washington, D.C., and I got to meet the Assistant Secretary for Indian Affairs, Brian Newland, and he encouraged me to apply for this the fourth internship, the Udall Native American Congressional internship. And he was like, mention my name, and if it works out, you can come work for me next summer. And I was just like, sure, okay, dude. And I submitted my application, I think in January. But in between that time, I was like, if I get accepted to this, I don't have any type of governmental experience. I'm not like, I have no type of legal experience. So my mentor from the HERS program, sorry, I'm jumping around here, but it's all connected. So one of my mentors from the HERS program, she got me in contact with the director of governmental affairs at the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services. It's a mouthful, but I'm going to call it KDADS. And yeah, it kind of was like an intersect of my interests, because KDADs are responsible for like the nursing facilities in all across Kansas, and they help kickstart the 988 hotline, and that's kind of how I got put onto it. They're like, "Oh, you worked at the Kansas Suicide Prevention Headquarters. You'd be a good fit here." And so I was an intern for the Director of Governmental Affairs in the spring of 2023. In the middle of that internship, I got notified that I got selected for the Udall internship. And so I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'm not going to go to DC and sound dumb. I know how like at least state legislation works. And so it was very encouraging. I was like, okay, now I got some experience. I can go to DC and meet people. And I won't talk too much on the Udall internship. I'll just say it was completely life-changing. I got to intern for Assistant Secretary Brian Newland at the Department of Interior, made so many connections. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to law school. Like, after this experience, I'm going to law school. Whatever it takes, I'm getting in. And so I don't think I did anything in the fall. I was trying to remember. I don't think I did. I was focused on some student organization stuff at Haskell. But then in the spring of 2024, my last semester, Director of Governmental Affairs at KDAD, she called me up and was like, hey, do you want to be my extern? And I never heard of an extern. And honestly, it's just like a fancier version of intern. You kind of do the same duties. It might not be the same for everything, but that's kind of what I took away from it. And a lot of law students, they do externships, and they say the same thing. It's like a fancier internship. But I did that again in the spring of 2024, and it's pretty much the same thing, but I got to network with Christina Haswood. For those of you who don't know, she's a state representative for the state of Kansas, and she's a Haskell alum. She's Danae. I think she's from Arizona, but yeah, she's really cool. She's running for state senate right now, so I got to help her out with her work, and just it's a really amazing experience. And then all that, sorry to go off, but after all that, I got an internship where I'm at right now with the United States Department of Agriculture, and it's the first internship of its kind. I'm considered a tribal ag and policy intern, and I'm working in the another mouthful, the Office of External and Intergovernmental Affairs. And pretty much what I've been doing this summer is just working with state and local governments about how they can access USDA resources, because it kind of ties back to what I was talking about my home community with the McGirt ruling and us getting our reservation back for the Comanche guys. Ray, you might know if you're still you're in Elgin or Elgin. Our governor does not like tribes. He's really attacking tribal sovereignty, and I want to take what I learned from this internship and go work with those state and local governments that don't respect tribal authority, and not really like, put my dukes up, but like, hey, like we can work together. We can like have a civil conversation. I can educate you, you can educate me, and we can work together. And I didn't always have that attitude. I used to be really angry. I used to, I don't know how to put it, but I've really calmed down as I'm getting older, and I'm figuring out how I can, use my voice and my experience in the best way possible. And screaming at a guy that doesn't respect you or your tribal nation isn't going to get you very far, I've learned. And so, yeah, what you can ask me more questions at the end about any of this experience, but if I didn't do a single one of these, I don't think I'd be the same person I am today. And they really just opened my eyes to the world. I'm from Eufaula, Oklahoma, a real small town. I didn't think I'd ever make it out of Oklahoma. and I'm spending my second summer in DC. And when I get back, I'm just gonna, work my butt off to get back here someday. So yeah, apply for internships if you're coming straight out of high school. If you're a non-traditional student, if you're a sophomore, whatever, just get some type of experience in the real world, and it opens a lot of doors. Because that first environmental studies, I'm not interested in environmental science, but it helped me get my third internship, which helped me get my fourth internship, which helped me get my sixth internship, and so it's kind of all connected. And then yeah, I'm just going to spend some time about the student organizations I was a part of at Haskell. Um, I was I'm still technically the president of the Phi Sigma Nu fraternity, and that's the oldest and largest Native American fraternity in the nation. It was started in North Carolina in 1996, and our chapter at Haskell is called IOTA chapter. And right after COVID, there was only one guy left, and he was like, me and him are good friends. He was one of my first friends at Haskell, and he was begging me to join for 3 semesters. And Edmond, Oklahoma, for those of you from Oklahoma that might be aware, it's a really privileged and wealthy town, and my family doesn't fit that bill. We just live there. And I got into fights, scuffles, altercations, whatever you want to call it, with a bunch of frat guys. So Greek life, fraternity, sororities has always had a bad taste in my mouth. So I was like, I'm not joining that. But the way he put it, when I finally decided to join, he was like, it's called reverse colonization. Like, non-natives are always, appropriating appropriating our culture and like profiting off of it, wearing headdresses, tomahawk chop, the mascots, and they're benefiting off of it, off of our culture. And so he said that's what this whole fraternity is about, is taking something that's benefited white people for hundreds of years, or non-native, sorry, and then taking it and making it our own. We have our own cultures tied into it, and that's really what attracted me to it. I was like, oh yeah, he's right. Because after learning about how the non-native world works, the non-native professional world, like, you should see people when I tell them I'm in an American Indian fraternity. It might sound lame to some people, but the people that aren't native, they're like, whoa, I never even knew those existed, and they Google it. And so it's pretty cool, I think. And the whole mission behind Phi Sigma Nu is just empowering young and native men within higher education to better their future. And if you can't get down with that, I don't know, like, that sounds really cool to me. And then the second one is SACNAS, Society for Advancement for Chicanos and Native Americans in STEM. And I never heard of that before, but because I was in that HERS internship, the environmental science, they sent me to present at a conference, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, that's probably the biggest conference I've ever been to. There was thousands of people down there, and it was really cool. And I really liked the people I met at my club, or our organization at Haskell. And then student government, I was the junior class rep. I think I mentioned that earlier, but that's how I got sent to DC at the White House. Our student government association got invited, and that's where I met Brian Newland, and that completely changed my life. And then I think most of you should have heard of AHEC, but it's the American Indian Higher Education Consortium. And unless you go to TCU, you might not have heard of it, but it's pretty much just like a consortium of all the TCUs, and they just work to, benefit all TCUs. There's probably a lot more to it to that. But every year they hold a conference, and my first year was in Albuquerque in 2023, and it was really, really fun. It's like, to me, it's like kind of like the Native Nerd Olympics. I don't really know how else to put it. It's just a bunch of different programming for, smart Native kids. And they have some traditional aspects to it, but a lot of it's, kind of nerdy. I enjoyed it because I'm kind of a nerd, but yeah, it was really fun. And then we went to Minneapolis this past year, and it was a lot of fun. Oh, I think I had slides for these. I'm sorry, got ahead of myself. I did these last second, but yeah, Phi Sigma Nu, I crossed in the fall of 2022. Served as the secretary, dean, and president. And we just got back from our national chief convention, and we won the same 3 awards we won last year. So that was really exciting. I just got back from that this past weekend, and they elected me as the chief of expansion for the National Chief Council. And so with that, I just have to go to different colleges and universities around the nation and try to not really convince them, but like sell our organization, like, hey, like here's why we belong, here's why you should establish a chapter. And Arizona State, they had a chapter, but it died out. And so that's like we're trying to get it back at Arizona State. And so yeah, it's really exciting. And here's a picture of me and my chapter when we got our award. And that's our logo, Phi Sigma Nu at Haskell. And our mascot is the turtles and a turtle. And so we just always, like in our flyers and stuff, we just use the Ninja Turtles because they're a bunch of friendly turtles that they're brothers. So yeah. Sackness. Yeah, and as I said, after that HERS internship, they sent the top 4 of us to go present at a conference, and we all chose Sackness because it was in San Juan, Puerto Rico that year. And it's like, who doesn't want to go, who doesn't want a free trip to San Juan? It was really fun. And then we helped start the first TCU chapter, and I was the chapter secretary, vice president. And then at the Student Government Association, I was a junior class rep from fall 22 to spring 2023. And then, yeah, the White House Tribal Nation Youth Summit. They just invited all of our student government associations to come to the White House. And that's where I met Brian Newland. And that's where he told me to apply. And that's kind of not where it all started, but that's kind of where my legal path started. Because, before that, I was kind of like, I want to be a social worker, but everyone's telling me to consider law, but I'm not really confident in myself to do law. And so after talking with Assistant Secretary Brian Newland, I was like, wow, if he believes in me, I might as well apply. And it all worked out. Yeah, I always mentioned the AHEC. I was the Knowledge Bowl team captain both years we went. And then in 2023, I just refined my poster that I made a year before and just presented it there. And then I served as the vice president. I'm almost done, I promise. But my current and future plans, right now, I'm finishing up at the USDA. My last day is the 16th, and then I'm flying back to Oklahoma on the 17th. And I just secured a job back in Eufaula to become an English and history tutor at the Creek Nation Eufaula dormitory. And it's a boarding school. They call it a dormitory. I forgot why, but it was traditionally a boarding school. My great grandma Emma, she was a part of the second grade class, and so it's got a lot so I'm technically a 4th generation boarding school student. My great grandma Emma went to Eufaula. My grandma and grandpa, they met at Chilocco Indian School, and then my dad went to Haskell for a little bit, and then I went to Haskell. And so right now, and I'm really excited for that position because I get to go back to my home community who I've been away from for a while. And I get to just teach Native kids like how to be successful in school. And that's kind of why I was really excited to do this. I don't know what all you'll take away from this, but my background before I came to Haskell, I was a wreck. And it was just because of education and applying myself that now I'm in DC for the 2nd summer in a row. And so right now I'm studying for the law school admissions test, and it sucks. I'm not going to lie. It's a really hard test. I took it last October and I didn't do as good as I wanted. And so now I'm trying to take it again and hopefully get a better score. And then after I take it, I'll apply to law school. Hopefully I'm going to get all my applications in by November 15th. And then there's this pre-law summer institute at the University of New Mexico. And everyone I've met, all the Native people I've met, because it's for natives only, but everyone I've met in DC, they're like, you need to do this, you need to do this. And it's kind of like an internship. And so if you ever meet someone that says, I really benefited from this program, this internship, listen to them, because they're trying to help you toe the line. And so everyone I've met is like, do this. So obviously, if I get into law school, I'm going to do it. And I'm hoping to start law school in the fall of 2025. And yeah, I think that's it. I might have rushed through that. Did I? Yeah, I'm sorry. But Mado, here's my email, my LinkedIn. I don't know if y'all utilize that, but if you see yourself going into professional degree or a graduate degree, LinkedIn's really useful. Last summer, my first internship in DC, I had 2 connections, which is like really low, and I didn't really know how to use it. but then I made a lot of connections. I think I have almost 300 now. And, I meet people and they have like 2,000. I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot. And I've actually really, at first I was like, what is this dumb app? But I've secured some really cool connections. I've met some fraternity brothers from across the nation. They messaged me, and it's a really good resource. And I don't know how old everyone is, if they're straight out of high school, they're non-traditional or whatever. But if you see yourself continuing education, I would at least, consider it. And yeah, that's it. Does anyone have any questions? Sorry for speeding through that, Adriana. If anyone has any questions about, law school, internships, where to apply or anything, feel free to email me or anything.
Excuse me. Hi. I don't have a question, but I'm just more of, I just want to say that I'm proud of you. You've come from a long way and that you've accomplished so much, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Alicia, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Jaylon. No worries. That was a really great presentation, and really enjoyed the storytelling factor of that. And I really love that you kind of highlighted your experience, especially as a male in higher education, because just kind of talking a little bit about it, like there's a low representation about empowering or like males in higher education, because like you see women doing it all the time and everything, but a lot of the time like we also need to uplift like our brothers, our uncles, our grandpas, our like like our friends and everybody who are also going through all this experience. They are also willing and also more than capable of being in the presentation in the what am I trying to say? In the positions that they are right now, and everybody can pursue higher education, especially going into the professional degrees. Like Jaylon's doing the thing with the law degree, and while it might be a tough process, it might be challenging, it might not work for you the first time, like it's always going to be there. There's always going to be a room for you to retry and get get to where you want to be, and just keep the values and like your goals and everything in mind. And that's what's really going to help you push through and to get through to all of that. So yes, thank you, Jaylon, so much for talking about your journey and everything. And I really hope that it inspired you as well. We always love to empower all of our students and to tell their stories and everything, and in hopes to inspire you. And then yes, if you have any questions, or if you have any like you want any tips or anything, especially on the law path, Jaylon, I'm pretty sure, is more than willing to help you. He put his email, his LinkedIn. Please utilize LinkedIn, even though it might seem like a hard platform to utilize. It really can come in handy, because you can go in and like connect with any people in there. Like let's say you want to work for the NBA or something. I don't know. Olympics are going on, so I'm like thinking about sports. You can go in and like go into each of your teams. So like let's say you're a really big fan of like the New York Knicks or something. I don't know. You can go in there and like add their staff. You can add their head coach. You can add the staff. Just connect with them like that. Keep in touch with them. And then let's say, you're done with your degree and stuff and you want to find an internship, you can always reach out to them. It might not work the first time, but you can reach out to so many different people, and somebody's going to have an opportunity for you to take advantage of or to work alongside them. So LinkedIn, I mean, like, I don't know why it's turned into like a LinkedIn ad, but definitely LinkedIn is really a really good tool to utilize. So Taniquia, I think you have a question.
Yeah, I saw that. When
Yeah.
starting internship straight out of high school, how would you adjust from a school setting to a workplace setting? I think that's what an internship is for. I'm sorry if it doesn't straight up answer your question, but that's kind of what they're for. And you can be honest with anyone. You say, hey, I've never really worked in this kind of setting. That's what my first internship was like. It was a lot of field research, and I wish I enjoyed field research, but I think that stuff's like really boring. I like reading books and doing research, and not everyone's like that. But I didn't really know that until I did that internship. I was like, I don't like this type of work. I want to go do this type of work. And so people notice that, like, hey, you're really good at that type of work. Have you ever considered law school? And I was like, what? And then, so I think that's what the whole internship is for, is like, not only like decide what you want to do, but decide what you don't want to do. So I went to that environmental science research program. I was like, I definitely don't want to do that. I benefited from it. They taught me how to research. They taught me how to write like a graduate student. They helped me like do all this data stuff that like I never could do. And it helped me out a lot, but I knew I didn't want to go in that direction. So I think that's what internships are kind of for, is to help you adjust from that straight out of high school setting into like, you know, the adult workplace. But Adrian, I want to address something you said about the males. I meant to say it in my presentation, but you know, American Indian males, we have a bad rap in Indian country. You know, we're abusers, we're drunks, we're lazy, and all the women are kind of doing all the legwork right now. Look at Deb Holland, look at Sharice Davis, look at Christina Haswood I mentioned, and like where are our men at? There are some, but you know, I didn't have any positive male role models growing up. All my dad, my uncle, they were all idiots, drug users. And so I have two little brothers that I mentioned the first, Royce and Eli. And that's kind of what I do everything for, not only for myself, but to show them that like we can change our trauma and our family history through you know, education and hard work. And I never had that example shown to me. And so sorry to go on the spiel, but I usually try to plug that in. So it's pretty much like calling out the men, like, hey, we need to step up. But Saleya, I don't know how to say your name, sorry, but how did you find professional recommendations for scholarships and stuff? I first started, I would say go to your professors at first. Like it might seem difficult and hard. Teachers might seem scary straight out of high school, or you just might not be a people person. But if you really enjoy a particular class in college, try to connect with that professor and like get to know them, tell them your story, tell them what you want to do, and then yeah, for the recommendation, that's how you would form that. Like at law school, they recommend, you know, 2 educational letters of recommendation and 2 professional. And sometimes they say 2 educational and 1 professional, but they really focus on your education. Like how involved were you with your school? Like what did you learn? How were you in the classroom? That's what they're looking for, is how much of a student are you going to be? So I would say start with your professors. If you don't like any of them, maybe find a professor in a different or a different degree path. But that's where I would start. And then after that, they can help you get internships, and then you can, you know, connect with those people there. And it all just if you keep moving forward, it usually works out. It's when you stop and second guess yourself that stuff usually builds up and you kind of get stressed out. But if you take it a step at a time, no matter what the pace is, you could be moving as slow as a turtle or, you know, really fast. But as long as you're moving, it usually works out, I'd say.
I'll just add another little spiel too. So whenever you're out going to ask somebody for a recommendation, it's always good to give them like a resume as well, just kind of talking about your educational background, your academic background, your professional background, what skills you might possess, any like experience that you might have had. Maybe you travel abroad, you did an internship, you volunteered at the Humane Society, or, you know, just different examples like that. Just to kind of give your recommender something to write a really strong recommendation letter for you. And that's really easy if it's somebody that you know and that you're really close to, but I feel like it's just always like a good note to give that as well too. So, but yeah, really great advice. But yeah, thanks everybody again. And if you have any other questions or want to reach out to Jaylon, for sure, he has his contact information in there. Shoot him a message or something. But yeah, thanks y'all so much. Let me just share my screen. We'll do the last part of the spiel. So that was professional development with Jaylon. That will happen today, obviously. So now our next 2 sessions we're going to be having are going to be on Wednesday and Thursday. So Wednesday will be advocating yourself with Shoshani Perez, and then the summer closing, first year experience summer closing will be staying motivated in college with Sharietta Martinez Brown. So I hope to see all of you there. I think those are going to be some really great sessions and kind of going along the same theme as today's talk as well. And again, if If you want to find any of the registration links or need any like reminders or live action updates, you can always follow us on Native Pathways. We also have our link tree on there on our bios as well. But yeah, other than that, yeah, thank y'all so much for attending. I really hope that you enjoyed the session. Jaylon, thank you so much for sharing your stories and everything. Please fill out the vending evaluation. Again, this is your ticket to get into the door prizes. And again, the more sessions that you attend, the bigger the prizes get, basically. So definitely do that. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And again, you are more than capable of doing anything that you put your mind to. I just want to put that out there. And you know, keep talking about it, keep journaling about it, manifest that, pray about it, and all of that. And you're gonna get into really good spaces where you deserve to be. So that's last ending message. But yeah, thank y'all, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I did put the event evaluation in the chat as well if you can't get the QR code, but please fill it out, and we'll see you at the next sessions. Thank y'all.